I just took a look at Alfonzo Rachel's latest video about Democrats and liberals co-opting Abraham Lincoln and separating him from his Republican roots. I've been watching Zoe for years, and this is one of his favorite hobby horses. I always get a kick out of it. Zoe thinks liberals stole the legacies of folks like Lincoln and Frederick Douglass, but really, Republicans gave them away. They put those legacies out on the curb for trash day a long time ago. But Zoe is just absolutely convinced that people don't know Abraham Lincoln was a Republican, and that it's crazy that these liberals and Democrats run around invoking Lincoln more than the Republicans do. He doesn't seem to consider that maybe liberals talk up Lincoln more because he stands for liberal and democratic ideals more than for conservative and Republican ideals. He seems to think that if he can just get people to realize Lincoln's party affiliation, that there will be a sudden influx of new blood into the GOP. But there are two main problems with this. First, if Lincoln were alive today, there is no way he would choose to be a Republican. And second, that wouldn't matter anyway because the Republicans wouldn't have him. The same goes for King, even if you believe he was a Republican, which I don't, but more on that another day. And the same goes for Frederick Douglass. Do you wish Michael Steele would shut up? Do you think Colin Powell is forgetting his place? Well, be glad Frederick Douglass, or Freddie D as Zoe would call him, isn't here, because you'd have a lot of explaining to do. At one point in the video, Zoe criticizes Republicans in Hollywood for not doing more to reclaim Lincoln's legacy because they are afraid of being snubbed or blacklisted.
Do I need to remind y'all that I'm a walking, talking taboo of an abomination to the Democrat Party?
He then takes pains to argue that he isn't being taken care of by right-wingers just because he's a token. And anyway, don't liberals always say that Republicans don't do nothing for black people? He's pretty touchy on the subject. But Zoe, you know that even if it could be proven that you are being taken care of because you're the token black guy, that wouldn't disprove the argument that Republicans don't do nothing for black people. It would only prove that they do something for black tokens. You're into martial arts. You've seen those kung fu movies. The bad guys always have a token Chinese guy on their team. You know the guy I'm thinking of.
Yes, boss. Yes, boss.
This overstates my case against Zoe, but I'm a liberal. I just couldn't resist. Plus, the guy is even wearing a hat, just like Zoe. But in an attempt to help Zoe out, everyone listening to this needs to know that back in the 1860s, the Republican Party was directly responsible for ending slavery. And at the time, many, maybe most Democrats were in favor of slavery. And Democrats founded the Klan too. There. Zoe thinks that will make you leave the party. We'll see. See, Lincoln believed in equality. Lincoln believed in ensuring the right to vote. He didn't like war any more than liberals of today do. As Zoe says, he engaged in a war to save the Union that eventually came to encompass ending slavery as one of its goals. The thing that bugs me is that because men like Douglass and King and Lincoln are gone, the modern right wing can hijack their legacies and insist that they would support the wrong side of issues that they would have likely rejected. But it's the Republican way. Use those who can't fight back. Most liberals do believe that war is sometimes the answer. The American Civil War is not a war liberals say shouldn't have happened. We say it shouldn't have needed to happen. Same with World War II. And liberals have argued for intervention in lots of places that conservatives have sniffed at. This usually happens when there's a need for humanitarian assistance in a country that can't help us in return. Liberals are guilty of thinking war is not always the answer, and we don't care if you're all huffy about it. Republicans, listen to me. Your problem isn't that Americans don't know who you are. It's that Americans do know who you are. And we don't like you. Take Mitt Romney. All of this hand-wringing about how if the American people had gotten to know the real Mitt, well, you are who you are when you think no one's watching. And we got to know Mitt Romney courtesy of the 47% video. And, to paraphrase Coach Denny Green, he was who we thought he was. Thinking, caring human beings reject the Republican Party, not for what it was, but for what it is. The vote-suppressing, misogynistic, homophobic, theocratic, government-hating, Romney, Palin, Sununu, Perry, Limbaugh, Gingrich, Buchanan, Hannity, O'Reilly, Aiken, Santorum, Robertson, and yes, Allen West Party. It is a party that would be completely unrecognizable to the long-gone men and women to which the party most wants to lay claim.